And welcome back, everybody, to episode 85 of the Paws Up podcast. As we keep this show rolling, want to get some new content out every week. I'm Jake Gibson, joined alongside my friend and co host Kevin Barral. And another very special guest of the show. We're tackling a new sport we haven't gotten to with FIU. So, who better to bring on than Karissa Kilby of FIU Golf? Karissa, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and like I said, we want to try to get to every single sport FIU has to offer this year. Call it a resolution if you want. So we wanted to tackle golf this week. So happy to have you on the show and talk a bit about the very interesting game of golf. So let's get right into it, Karissa. For you personally, talk about where and when the love for competitive golf came for you, growing up way out west over in Honolulu.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, there's videos of me at the golf course when I was like 2 years old. Obviously it wasn't that serious back then, but my dad was really into it with his buddies around that time when I was born. And so he'd take me to the range, and pretty much as soon as I could stand, I loved it. So I started tournaments at 8, and I've been playing ever since, but I'm lucky it was never something that was forced on me. I've always just really wanted to be there. So
That's super sick. On the topic, we obviously do not often get to talk to someone from Hawaii. It's a destination that and I'm going to assume Kevin have been to it maybe once or twice, and it's been a while. Kevin, I don't know if you've been to Hawaii or not.
Never.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, damn. Okay. Well, I went there once, super long time ago. I'm talking 20 years ago, when I was like four or five. What are some things about the Aloha State, Karissa, that only someone who would have actually lived there would know instead of like your average tourist like myself?
I think I just love the culture and how much it embraces the family aspect. I live with my parents and my brother and my grandma, and almost everyone lives with their grandparents. Like, we really respect our elders there. And even if they're not directly related to you, you call everyone auntie and uncle, because if as a kid or even just as a girl, like if I needed anything and I was out somewhere alone, I could go up to someone and they'd probably be pretty helpful. So I have always loved that, and everyone from home has always backed me in my golf endeavors, no matter how far away I am. So yeah, just the love and support from home is so important and so appreciated, because yeah, it's a small island, and just knowing that even though I'm 5,000 miles away, that they have my back is really nice.
That's cool.
So similar to that last question, what's some insight about being a professional golfer that maybe those who play or watch the game just casually might not know?
Well, I am not a professional golfer.
We'll
So I'm
say
sure that there's some things that I don't know yet. But at least collegiately and with the little bit of experience I've had in big tournaments, I think it's definitely just a very humbling sport. I'm not immune to anything. It tackles you mentally more than anything else I've ever encountered, and it's definitely made me tougher as a person. But it's also important for me to remember that just at the end of the day, it is just golf, and in the grand scheme of things, most people don't care that much about golf, so I'm gonna be okay regardless. But yeah, no, it's definitely taught me so much about just trying to stay in the present and being grateful for where I'm at and what I've experienced. And the hot streak could end at any moment, and the not hot, really unfortunate streak could also come around and get better at any moment. Yeah. So that's just what keeps me going.
So talk about your experience about at Punahou High School, which you attended. Very famous high school, you were telling us, where Barack Obama attended. So just talk about that experience over there.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up going to St. Andrews, like a really small all-girls Christian school, up until my high school years. So it was a big adjustment. There's like 500 people in your class, and it's not all girls, and everyone is extremely talented and driven regarding either academics or athletics or artistically. So it definitely pushed me. And my golf team, like my high school golf team, just was stacked with really, really good golfers. So yeah, that always pushed me. And I'm so grateful that I had those resources and the opportunities that that school did provide me. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's it for that one.
So it's funny. We've had guests on the show that have come from West Coast states like California. We've also had people who come from states like Texas, and we always think, wow, how did FIU go about approaching a person from a state so far away? But for you, it's a whole different animal being from the Aloha state of Hawaii. So I gotta know, how did a school like FIU, literally on the opposite end of the U.S., go about recruiting you, and what made you pull the trigger?
I honestly never expected to come over here. Almost everyone goes to California or Arizona, where I'm from, because that's already a 5-hour flight home. But I always knew I wanted warmer weather. I'm not big on the cold, especially for the outdoor sport. It just didn't make sense to me. I was recruited by a couple of schools up north that were, I guess, ranked better at the time, but I knew I wouldn't be happy there. And I had never heard of FIU, to be honest, but to be fair, I hadn't heard of most schools on this side of the country.
Sure.
And it just kind of fell into place. Like, I was stressing about college from the 8th grade. That was my first college visit before they made the rule that you can't talk to coaches until your junior year. I don't even know what it is now. It changes all the time.
Right.
But yeah, college was on my radar from the time I was 13, and it was really stressful, and it felt like I had to play well anytime I came to the mainland, because coaches don't really fly over there to recruit.
Right.
So a couple trips a year, it was like, okay, this is the moment. Like, I got to figure it out. But I got in contact with the FIU coach. At the time, it was Joe Vogel. We have a new coach now, but he was a really, really sweet guy. He took care of me. And he got me on the phone the next day, and he said that they wanted to fly me out as soon as possible. And within 3 weeks, I was here, and I committed on the spot because it just felt right. So it was really interesting how it had been. I guess that was my junior year. So it had been 3 years of stressing, and this school that I had never even heard of came out of the blue, and it just fell into place, and it felt right. And yeah.
Wait, does it get cold in Hawaii?
No.
Okay. You were tired of the cold, and I was like, wait a minute. I could have sworn it doesn't really get cold there.
No, it gets much colder here than it gets there.
I would have thought that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I knew that I'm not built for that.
Okay. Oh, geez. Miami and Honolulu must be incredibly different places to live. Between the language barrier, food, weather, what was the biggest culture shock for you moving here to the 305?
Just everyone speaking Spanish. I really wish I had taken my high school Spanish class a little more seriously. Everyone actually made fun of me back then because they were like, no one's ever going to use Spanish. Like, that's such a useless class. So that would have been a good idea. But yeah, I've made it through. I still am not good at all, but I have friends and I find a way to make it work. I use translators, whatever.
So talk about when you arrived at FIU, just what were your thoughts on the campus? I know you said you'd kind of visited before that. So just your first thoughts on the campus, the people, and just, the golf courses here in Miami. I know you guys practice mainly at Trump Doral. So just your thoughts on that course.
The campus is beautiful, full of palm trees, looks like home for me. And yeah, Trump was a big shocker, honestly, when we went out there for the first time for my recruiting visit. It's stunning. If you haven't been, like, there's fountains and statues and flowers and everything everywhere. And it really is a championship golf course. We don't play the blue that often, but we play the other three a lot, but every week, every day almost. And I just think that we're so lucky to have access to those facilities. Our coach now, Coach John, he got us access to be able to go whenever we want. So it's almost like I feel like a member at times. Before we just went with the team all together, and now we do have full access to the facilities, and that's definitely an advantage for my golf game. And I am so grateful, and I'm going to be really sad to say goodbye in a couple months.
Yeah. This question came up as we were talking about Hawaii earlier. How many golf courses are over there?
I don't know, a good amount. Hawaii's kind of big in golf, but yeah.
Okay.
It's a small state, so I wasn't sure how much land they were taking up for giant golf courses.
Yeah, there's not a lot of land. There's not a lot of room, but I've played a decent amount, and there's quite a few that I haven't played yet. The Big Island has a lot of like really exclusive, beautiful clubs. I've only been to a couple of them, but I've heard lots of things. And then my island has one or two bigger country clubs, and then a good amount of public courses that I got to play growing up.
So when you joined FIU, you had already mentioned this. Joseph Vogel was the head coach there, and then a year later, John Koskinen became the head coach, with Vogel taking an assistant role for a few years. Talking about working with both Vogel and Koskinen, with how they coached you and your teammates to be the best golfers that you could be.
Yeah, Vogel was my coach for my first 2 years on his own, and I think he's definitely, they're so different, but they've both helped me so much in different ways. And I think they're what I needed at those different stages in my life. I originally came because Vogel made it so clear and so obvious that he did value me and he did believe in me, when a lot of other schools kind of strung me along. They definitely thought I had potential, but it's always a gamble with recruiting, and they're trying to see if they can get someone that's playing a little bit better, but they're still going to keep me on the back burner. And Vogel right away was like, I know that you can do something special, and I want you here. And my verbal commitment means something to me. I'm not going to take that away, because I couldn't actually sign for like another year.
Okay. And
that just meant a lot to me, to have someone that believed in me that much. And he was honestly like a second dad to me when I got here. Even if it wasn't golf related, if there was ever anything I needed, he was there. And it was funny, actually. My freshman year, I was playing pretty good. I got to the point where I shot like in the 60s for the first time in a tournament. And I got dumped randomly the next weekend, and the next day I went out and I shot 95 in practice, and I actually thought I was getting kicked off the team. Like I was like, I'm done. And he came up to me the next day at practice, and I was like, this is it. It's over for me. And I was like, oh, did you see the score? And he was like, yeah, I saw it. And I don't care. I know that's not you. I just want to make sure that you're okay. Like, what's going on with you? And he just always made sure that I was okay as a person. And that's what came first. And that is what I needed at that time. And it was a safe environment for me to take risks and challenge myself in a fun way and not feel like it defined me as a person. And that really, really meant a lot to me at that phase in my life. And I still need to remind myself of that at this phase in my life, actually. And then John came in last year. They were kind of working together, but John was here much more. Vogel was just stepping in every once in a while to make sure we were taken care of. But Coach John has so much knowledge about the game. He immediately taught me a lot, just a lot, like upped my golf IQ within a few weeks, just about all these random things that I would have never known. And he pushes us to do new drills that challenge me in ways that I haven't been challenged before, like things that I thought I was good at that I clearly could work on. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, John has taught me a lot up to this point, and he clearly wants it more than anyone, and he's going to do whatever he thinks he has to do to make it happen for the team. And that means a lot as well.
What are you shooting right now, like more or less?
I'm not going to lie. I have been struggling. It's really interesting because I almost feel like even though I know more right now, I felt like I knew more at 19. I had less of an awareness of how dumb I was, and that gave me a lot of confidence. Now I'm very aware of how little I know. So yeah, I'm clearly avoiding the question. The first tournament, I shot, I don't even remember. It was a high 70, probably like a 78, 79, and then there was like an 82 in there. It's really funny because I was really stressed before the first tournament, and I was like, I don't want to shoot a 74 and disappoint you. And coach was like, Chris, a 74 is going to happen. I just can't have you shooting an 80. I was like, that's so possible too. And I proved that. And I'm not immune to anything. It's the most humbling sport in the world. Yeah. And I'm just trying to build my confidence back up. This week, it got better. This week, I had a rough first day. And then the second day, I was back at even par. So we're teetering around it. I'm at the point where I'm good in practice, and then when it counts, I get a little overwhelmed, but I should move past that pretty quickly, hopefully. I made some swing changes in the off season. Okay. And if it wasn't for college and I hadn't signed a contract and it was totally up to me, I wouldn't be in tournaments yet right now, to be honest. Okay. But it's getting me ready, and I believe it's coming. I don't believe that you put in this much just for nothing good to come out of it. I just can't really see when it's coming. But hopefully at the next tournament in 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's going to be over at Gainesville, at the Gators Invitational.
My favorite events of the year, and I'm looking forward to it.
Do you remember the first event you competed in as a Panther?
I don't know, honestly. Oh, it was Gonzaga's event. Washington or Idaho, actually, Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, it was in Idaho for some reason, even though Gonzaga's over in Washington State.
It's just barely over the border, but it's a beautiful course.
Yeah, the collegiate invite. Okay, the reason I bring that up is how has your mentality on match day changed from then to now in your senior year?
I don't know. I think I was really nervous on that day, and I got to the point where I wasn't that nervous anymore. And this semester I showed up on the tee and I was pretty nervous again. Honestly, this happened in high school. I think it's just the anticipation of a big change coming, because I know that this is almost the end for me, in college, not overall. But I'm just trying to think about things long term and understand that it doesn't have to be perfect right now. It's just about getting better in general, because I hopefully plan on playing for a really long time. So I guess that's changed for me. I used to feel like I had to prove myself every time I stepped on the tee, and now I'm more just trying to improve with each shot and each day. And I like to think that maybe I just need a certain amount of bad days to learn what I need to learn to get to the good stuff.
Right.
I guess that's changed for me. I have a much more optimistic view of things.
There we go. Just looking at your stats, you accomplished something that I think must be pretty special for you. First place in the Manoa Cup in Hawaii in 2023. Just how much did it mean to you to win that event at home?
That was definitely a big deal for me. I have struggled with my mental health on the course and off the course, especially over that period of time. And so it had been 5 years since I won an event, and that one I actually did by myself. I thought I was going to have a caddy, and at the last minute that didn't work out. So I was carrying my own bag. but it was really important for me to do that, honestly, to like prove that I could do it by myself, prove to myself, to nobody else. I feel like everyone else has believed, not everyone, but my people at home and my coaches, they've believed in me this whole time. But that one was big for me to get rid of those voices in my head telling me that I'm not that good. So yeah, that was really big for me, and it was really nice to do it in front of all those people and my family that I know have watched me since I was growing up and have told me about all the potential I have and all the good things I'm gonna do my whole life. It was really, really special to have that moment with them there, just to be like, yeah, like I guess you were right.
Okay. So yeah, no, definitely. It must have been something. You got to carry your own bags. Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, it was a long week and a very hilly golf course. I was getting sore for sure, but I had people offering to caddy for me by the end of the week, and I was like, I can't switch it up now. Like, it's
absolutely.
If it's working, you got to keep going.
Yeah, I get it. All righty. I think it's time for a quick break, Kevin. Should we look around FIU athletics real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's take a look around FIU athletics. Who to watch out for in the 305. We have a stacked weekend coming up for the Panthers, so let's get right into it. Starting off with men's basketball, who will be at home for their last two games of the season, taking on the Kennesaw State Owls on Thursday, February 27th at 7 o'clock. Then they'll take on Jack State on Senior Day, Saturday, March 1st at 2 o'clock. Then they'll head on the road to finish the regular season before the CUSA tournament begins. Same thing goes for women's basketball. They'll be taking on Kennesaw State, this time on the road in Georgia on Thursday the 27th. They'll then take on Jack State and then finish up their season over at the Ocean Make Convocation Center against Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee in March 6th and the 8th, respectively. Next up is baseball, who, with the red-hot start to the season, they'll look to continue the good times rolling on Friday, February the 28th at 6:30 when they begin a 4-game series against Merrimack. There will be a Saturday doubleheader, with the first game being at 2, then the second being at 6, and then a Sunday finale at noon. All of those games are at the FIU Baseball Stadium, and they can all be seen on ESPN+. And softball will begin the FIU Classic over at Felsberg Field on Friday, February the 28th at 4:30 when they take on Eastern Illinois. This will be another mini tournament that will also include opponents such as Bradley, Toledo, and St. Francis. It all starts on Friday, taking on Eastern Illinois at 4:30, and then Bradley at 7 o'clock also on Friday. And of course, I got to throw in FIU Golf as well. They will be heading over to Gainesville for the Gators Invitational on Friday, March the 7th. That'll continue to Sunday, March the 9th. They'll then head not that far away to Tallahassee on March 21st to the 23rd. Then they'll head to St. Augustine for the Coach Mo Classic on March 31st to April 1st. And also in St. Augustine are the CUSA Championships, which will begin on Monday, April 14th to Wednesday, April the 16th. So that was a pretty quick look around FIU athletics. Karissa, let's get right back into the swing of things here, no pun intended, talking about this team. You're a part of a group of 6 golfers that represent FIU, half of which are from the international level, which is really cool. And everyone knows this. They're all watching this right now, so I think you just ought to give them their flowers now, Karissa. Talk a bit about each and every one of them and what people should know about this unit as a whole.
This is definitely the most talented group of girls that I have been surrounded with since I've been here. Our team is very young right now. I'm the only senior. We have 2 freshmen, sophomore, and 2 juniors, but the juniors are transfers, so they're still very new to this. I think that any one of them can go low on any day. The only thing we're looking for is a little bit more consistency, but again, they're also very young, and it's going to come. I don't know if it's going to come while I'm still here or not. We are looking for a conference championship, and I do believe that if we all just have a day on the same day, or maybe a couple days in a row, then we definitely have it in the bag. There's nothing that anyone on any other team can do that any of the girls on our team can't. And I think that they're all going to accomplish very special things individually.
Not sure if you know this, but you're the only senior on the roster. So with that being said, do you kind of feel like you have to take up some sort of leadership role to kind of just mentor them, teach them the ins and outs of FIU golf or collegiate golf?
Yeah, I definitely let them know that I'm here for whenever they need me. Anything that they are feeling is something that I've felt in the last 4 years or the last 20 that I've been golfing. I think they don't need too much guidance. A lot of golf is unfortunately something that you can't be told. It's something you kind of just have to go through on your own and experience for yourself. But I do try to uplift them and let them know as often as possible that they are so much better than they can see and that there are good things coming and that I truly have been in their exact position. But yeah, I mean, they don't really need me to hold their hand too much. They know what they're doing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the seasons for you and for the team. You guys are coming off the Spartan Suncoast Invitational just a couple of days ago, and I have a couple of meets, as Jake noted, right before conference championship. So just how would you assess the season so far for you guys and then for yourself? I know you kind of spoke about it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone, again, has shown glimpses of what they can do, and it's just about us all putting it together on the same day. It's really tough for golf because if one person has a rough day, you can't really pick up the slack on that since we all play individually and then they add up the scores at the end. So if one person has a rough day, even if someone else goes under par, it's really hard to make up for that. So we're all working on our own games, and I do see it coming. There's a couple that are playing pretty good. Kat has made a lot of improvements since last semester, and Hoki went under par in 2 out of her 3 rounds this week. She's very consistent. She hits a lot of greens, and when her putter does get hot, she's going to be one to look out for sure. She's actually, I think her old school was in NAIA, but she's individual national champion from last year. Yeah, no, we have a lot of talent on this team. So I definitely see it coming together. It's just about, again, not letting the internal doubts get to you. And it is really tough seeing other people struggle with that as well. I don't enjoy watching that for anyone because I know it's not fun. But I think that something good is coming. I really, really do. And I don't say that lightly. I think we're all really putting in the work, and I do see us winning a conference championship this year, honestly. I would love to. It's my last one.
Yeah, that's going out with a bang. I get it. And like you just said, being a senior, a future without FIU will be soon upon you, Karissa. And if I'm not mistaken, you're going for a degree in sports journalism. You have done some work with Kaplan News, including covering the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. Your bio on Kaplan reads, quote, "She hopes that when her time as an athlete comes to a close, she can be a sports broadcaster/journalist," end quote. Does that still hold up, Karissa? Is that something you still do want to explore?
I would love to, honestly. It is my minor. I'm getting a major in psychology. But yeah, I mean, the dream has always been to play. If I'm granted that opportunity, then I'm going to take it. I'm going to run with it. But it is eventually going to come to an end. And yeah, I would love to be a broadcaster. I imagine on Golf Channel, they did try to challenge me with some other sports, but I really didn't grow up with that much knowledge about the other sports. So I think I'd be best for golf. But yeah, it is something I'm very interested in.
That's awesome. So Karissa, you've been an awesome guest on the show so far. We thank you. Let's start to close up the shop a little with some fun rapid fire questions. Starting off with, it's tough because you don't have a whole lot of options compared to a sport like football or baseball, which has a lot of players on it. Who is the funniest teammate over at FIU Golf?
Definitely Kat. She's very witty. She has her moments.
Who's getting the aux cord and who's not getting the aux cord on the golf team?
Amandine, she's from France, and she always pulls through with that one.
Who
We're gonna have to
would
throw
you
a
not?
teammate under the bus. Who's not getting the aux cord?
Probably me. It's so random. It's so like I have all my different moods and it doesn't match everyone else's.
What's on your playlist?
Literally everything. Literally everything.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What has become your go-to spot to grab a quick bite to eat on campus?
Oh, I really like Panera. That wasn't there my freshman year. So
Right.
something like that. And then so random, but Halal Shack is actually
That's
nice.
an awesome spot.
I've been going there recently before practice, and it's really good.
You must be an FIU OG if you remember what was at Panera before Panera at that little spot at GC.
I don't remember. Someone used to tell me that we had an Einstein, but I
There,
wasn't.
there you go. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there was nothing there my freshman year, but I heard the year before there was an Einstein.
Yeah.
I think they should bring that back. I think we should have both of them.
Not gonna lie. Yeah.
So I guess what's the best spot to get Hawaiian food at? Like what's like the typical Hawaiian food, and if there's even a spot here in Miami where you could find it?
Honestly, I mean, nothing compares to the actual food from home, but
Okay.
the poke place across the street is the only place in all of Florida or like the entire mainland US where I'll actually eat poke. It's pretty good. So
There we go.
So FIU, regardless of the sport, prides themselves on nice looking uniforms. It's the same thing for golf. Plenty of outfits to choose from. What's been your favorite look?
oof, I don't know. I'm pretty simple. Our new coach, John, loves colors. So I'm working on that. Like the yellows. We have a neon pink shirt that we haven't worn in a tournament yet. And it's like for the Vice, but it's extremely neon. So if we wear that, I'm really gonna be stepping out of my comfort zone. But maybe that's what I need right now. I don't know. But I'm really into the black and white, like the navy and the white. That's my personal vibe.
So
There we go.
it's like it's one of those neon colors that you can like see from space. It's so bright.
Yeah. And I'm really nervous for that.
Who would you say is the best golfer in the world right now?
Scotty Scheffler. I love him.
Good pick. That's a good pick. I would agree.
He's a good man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a good answer for this next question. Name a golfer all time, past, present, future, that you would love to play an 18-hole game of golf with.
Ooh, there's a lot of options, but since I said Scotty on the last one, I probably will go with him. I just feel like he's really good at keeping his composure, and I am a Christian, and he incorporates his faith into his sport so much, and I think that would really help me and ground me.
Yeah, that's cool. So this isn't really a rapid fire question because it might require some thinking, but your favorite course that you have actually played in?
Oh, I've had the privilege of playing at a lot of really nice courses. Torrey Pines was beautiful. I'm gonna name a few. Torrey Pines.
Pines, it's so good.
Yeah, that one was really nice. I played the Junior World there when I was like 13. And then I've been to Pinehurst a number of times. Probably go back there this summer. And then this one isn't. We used to have a conference championship at PGA National, but it's actually one of my least favorite courses. The last few in the wind are horrendous. But it's beautiful. It's just it'd be beautiful for like a fun round of golf, not for a conference championship in the wind.
I gotcha.
And then the most challenging for me, or just the best, most well kept, I guess. I played my my US Open at Pine Needles, and the way that they set up that event is just insane. My coach at the time told me to practice putting on the concrete, and I laughed, and he informed me that he was not kidding. And when I got there, I understood why. So that was just like the most beautiful, perfect golfing experience of my entire life. But as for course layout, probably Torrey Pines of all of them.
What's your favorite course like in Miami? I'm guessing Trump.
Yeah, I haven't played that many. We had the opportunity to play Indian Creek last semester, and that place is stunning. But I also love Trump. I've played there for 4 years, so I'm a little desensitized to it now.
What's the best you've ever shot?
In a tournament, 65.
Damn. Just casually?
I think it was also 65 actually, but the 65 in practice came before the one in the tournament. So.
There we go. Yeah. Alrighty, so we always ask this to every student athlete, every coach. Who should be the next golf player we should get on the show here?
I don't know. There's not that many to choose from.
Yeah,
that's where it gets tough. I get it.
Yeah. I don't know. I would say Hoiki. She's one of my closest friends on the team. She's just very shy at first, so I don't know how much you're gonna get out of her. But when she starts talking, she's hilarious, and she obviously has a lot of knowledge about the game. She is a national champion. So
there we go.
Alrighty, Karissa. Again, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We always like to start to close out the show, asking this to everyone we've had on the show, coach, player, etc. If you have anything you'd like to say to the fans, to FIU, to anybody, the floor is now yours.
I guess just thank you so much for everyone that has believed in me over the last 4 years. It is not forgotten. I remember every single person that has gone out of their way and put in extra effort for me, and I've truly given this school everything I've had in my whole time here. And so the people that have given that back mean so much, and I'm really excited to see what comes next for me and for FIU.
Well said, Karissa. Again, thank you so much. So for myself, for Karissa, for Kevin, saying so long. We'll see you all next week. And paws up!